There was one rule everyone in the Pacific War believed in. You do not starve an island empire. For decades, every naval theorist, every admiral, every logistics officer agreed on it. Japan is too far. Japan is too vast. Japan has too many ships. You could bomb its cities. You could sink its battleships. But you could not strangle it. Not quietly. Not with small ships. Not from underwater. Japan's entire war plan is built on this certainty. Tankers bring oil from Borneo. Freighters bring rice from Burma. Convoys move steel, ammunition, aircraft parts, food. Everything flows across thousands of miles of ocean. And the Imperial Japanese Navy believes it is untouchable there. Their destroyers patrol. Their aircraft hunt. Their depth charges wait. A submarine is supposed to be hunted prey, not a strategic weapon. But in 1943, one American commander breaks that rule so completely that Japan never recovers. His name is Richard O'Kane. And aboard one submarine he begins to sink an entire empire. You meet Richard Hetherington O'Kane in 1943. He is 33 years old. Short, compact, wire-tight with nervous energy. A former football player from Arizona who looks more like a scrapper than a scholar. But inside his head is something the Japanese do not understand. He had already served as executive officer on USS Wahoo under Dudley "Mush" Morton, the most aggressive submarine skipper in the Pacific. O'Kane fired the torpedoes when Wahoo slaughtered Japanese shipping in 1942 and early 1943. He learned how to stalk, how to calculate, how to wait until the exact second when steel meets steel. Now the Navy gives him his own boat. USS Tang. A brand new Belau-class submarine. 311 feet long. 80 men aboard. 6 forward torpedo tubes. For aft. A steel cylinder carrying 24 torpedoes into the heart of enemy waters. O'Kane is not reckless. He is precise. He drills his crew relentlessly. He demands perfect fire control solutions. He demands torpedoes launched at closer ranges than anyone else dares. He teaches them one brutal truth. If you want to kill a convoy, you must sail straight into its teeth. And the stakes could not be higher. By 1943, Japan is bleeding but not dead. Its war factories still run. Its armies still fight in New Guinea, China, Burma, and the Central Pacific. Everything depends on shipping. Every gallon of fuel. Every sack of rice. Every artillery shell. If those ships die, the empire starves. O'Kane is sent into the East China Sea. This is where Japan's lifeline runs. And this is where he intends to cut it. It is night. September 1944. You are 200 feet beneath the waves aboard Tang. The air is hot, thick and sour with diesel and sweat. The steel hull creaks softly as water presses in. A radar contact appears. Then another. Then another. A convoy. 5 Japanese ships, escorted by destroyers, moving in tight formation. O'Kane does not wait. He orders the submarine to surface. The night air slams into the bridge as hatches open. Lookouts snap into position. Dark shapes slide across the water ahead. The Japanese do not expect a submarine on the surface. They think they own these seas. O'Kane orders full speed. The diesel engines roar. Tang knifes forward, black against black, running straight at the convoy. Range, 4,000 yards. 3,000. 2,000. You are closing inside point-blank range. O'Kane wants to see the whites of their ships. 1,500 yards. He fires. 2 torpedoes leap from the forward tubes, white wakes ripping across the water. 30 seconds. 40. An explosion erupts. A Japanese transport disappears in a ball of orange fire. He fires again. Another torpedo slams into a tanker. Flames climb hundreds of feet into the air. Burning oil spreads across the sea like a living thing. The convoy panics. Ships turn. Destroyers accelerate. Searchlights sweep. O'Kane does not run. He steers straight into the chaos. Another salvo. Another hit. Another ship slows then begins to sink. The Japanese fire wildly. Tracer rounds streak through the darkness. Shells splash around Tang. You hear metal scream as near misses rattle the hull. A destroyer charges. O'Kane orders a crash dive. The boat plunges. Depth, 50 feet. 80. 120. Sonar pings hammer the hull. The destroyer is right above you. The first depth charges fall. Boom. The entire submarine shudders. Lights flicker. Men are thrown against bulkheads. Another pattern. Boom. Boom. You smell burning insulation. You taste metal. O'Kane stays calm. He turns the submarine, changing course by 10 degrees. Then another 10. He plays the enemy like a chessboard. The destroyer loses the contact. The explosions fade. O'Kane brings Tang back to periscope depth. Smoke and fire fill the horizon. 3 Japanese ships burn. 2 more limp away. But he is not done. Over the next 5 days, Tang becomes a nightmare. O'Kane attacks convoy after convoy. At night. On the surface. From inside the formation. He fires torpedoes at 800 yards. 600. Sometimes less than 500. You feel the recoil. You hear the launch valves slam shut. You wait. Then the sea erupts. By the end of this patrol, Tang sinks 10 ships. More than 50,000 tons of Japanese shipping vanish beneath the waves. And then comes the final attack. A massive convoy appears. More than a dozen ships. O'Kane goes in again. Torpedoes fly. Explosions blossom. Japanese ships collide in the dark trying to escape. Then disaster. A torpedo leaves Tang stern tube. But something goes wrong. It circles. You have seconds to realize what that means. The torpedo is coming back. O'Kane orders hard rudder. Full speed. Too late. The explosion hits Tang like a sledgehammer. Steel rips. The submarine snaps in two. You are thrown into darkness and rushing water. Of 87 men aboard, only 9 survive. They escape through the wreckage. They are captured by the Japanese. They are beaten and starved. But they live. And the damage Tang inflicted cannot be undone. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage and sacrifice deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. Asterisk asterisk. What Japan does not understand yet is what just happened. Tang is not unique. She is one of dozens of American submarines now operating with the same brutal efficiency. By late 1944, U.S. submarines are sinking over 300 Japanese ships every month. Oil stops flowing. Food stops arriving. Aircraft sit idle for lack of fuel. Entire Japanese divisions starve in the Philippines and on Pacific Islands because supply ships never arrive. Admiral Toyota, commander of the Imperial Japanese Navy, admits the truth in secret reports. The submarine blockade is killing Japan faster than bombs ever could. The empire is bleeding out under the waves. And there is nothing they can do to stop it. Richard O'Kane survives captivity. He weighs less than 100 pounds when the war ends. But he lives. He receives the Medal of Honor for what he did aboard Tang. To this day, USS Tang remains the most successful American submarine of the Second World War by confirmed kills. 87 men sailed into enemy waters. 9 came home. They did not just sink ships. They shattered the rule that an island empire could not be starved. And they helped end a war. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering.